welcome. We'll talk about that. Anyway, welcome to Detroit in Black and White here at McShane's in Corktown, Michigan, and Trumbull. It's cold outside. This is what we're going to be preparing for. It's going to be nice and warm next week. Allan Lengel from Deadline Detroit. How you doing?
Good morning. Good. Getting a little cold out there today.
Attorney Vanessa Moss, who's complaining about the new.
I'm not complaining.
Yes,
I'm just stating.
Vanessa
Moss, who has a movement for Judge 36th District Court. Good morning to Detroit Black and White viewers.
And usually he's at the end of the month, but he was out gallivanting around the country, enjoying life and stuff. Deputy Mayor Todd Bettison, how you doing?
I feel great,
Deputy Mayor.
I feel great. It's definitely fall, and so school has started. I know the first week was super hot, but as stated, the first week of September really fall kicked in, and so it's football season. Feeling good today.
I thought you was gonna wear your white.
Hey, are you optimistic about the game today?
Yeah, I am. I'm very optimistic. Hail the victors, right? And so it's at 12 noon, and then tomorrow it's Lions in the city of Detroit. Mongo, I know you ready for. I got some Lions gear for you this year, baby.
You know what? I hate the Lions. I do not like the Lions. I never liked the Lions. You know what? And then when I covered the Lions at one time, I would go in the locker room, Monty Clark sitting up there. He was the coach. And I wanted to get some quotes because I was working on the story of one of their running backs, James Jones. Remember James Jones? Yeah. And Monty Clark talking about, what, you his good friend? I'm working. I said, I'm working. I'm writing a story. He was like, oh. But he was Monty Clark crying, praying when they missed the field goal and all that other stuff. But hopefully they go. If they don't go to the Super Bowl, need to get rid of Dan Campbell.
I don't know. They put together an amazing team. I mean, between the general manager and Dan Campbell, I mean, they're two.
I thought him and
finally got it right.
I thought him and Sheila, the owner, when they won that game, man, you could tell they might have something going.
Last year I used to call Dan Campbell at the beginning of the season. With his aggression on fourth down, I used to call him Dan Gamble. But he proved to be right. And so, whether they go to the
Riverboat guy,
I love him. But whether they go to the Super Bowl or not, I just want them to make the playoffs. And so, I mean, that's what we can expect. And that's what I'm optimistic about. I think they got a solid team. So it's going to bring a lot of excitement to the city of Detroit.
They finally have, I mean, Sheila Ford,
yes,
Hampton Ford, whatever. She got it together. Brad Holmes, they've got the best general manager in the league. And Dan Campbell's a great coach. The players love playing for him, which is a big deal. They hated what was the guy they brought from Massachusetts?
Was the Council on his ear? Yeah,
Patricia. Matt Patricia. They hated Matt Patricia. He came in with a bad attitude about, just kind of.
I still can't get over Jim Caldwell. He didn't deserve it.
Yeah.
Well, kicked out like he got kicked out.
And they thought Matt Patricia was horrible.
What I will say about Dan Campbell is that the media has been very, very gracious. Very gracious. So let's hope that he delivers, because
he's winning.
A lot of Lions fans. I come from a family of Lions fans. I don't watch football at all anymore, so it doesn't matter.
Okay, we'll get you a TV and we'll get you hooked up so that we can get.
I used to be a football
you need a subscription, right?
You don't need a TV.
But PTC and the way the NFL treated the players, I just could not support it.
Well, anyway, we got our special guest here today. I want you to go first. You have an outrage of the week.
I always, I came in not wanting to have an outrage, just being, optimistic. And I told my wife I would not be ranting. But, yesterday we had a 3-year-old shot. And it's the same old again. And it's, irresponsible adults leaving their guns out. And so the toddler gets the gun, off the dresser, whatever, and shoot themselves in the face. And so now we got a little boy that's in critical condition. I see Chief White on TV, and of course, it's the same.
Ain't he tired of that?
Yeah, the chief is tired of it. I'm tired of it. We're all tired. And we have too many guns and too many people that are irresponsible with the guns. I mean, of course, I own guns and I believe in, the Second Amendment, but you have to be responsible with it. And so today, the Detroit Police Department is giving out gun locks over at the
But
range.
it don't seem like it worked because people. This woman had a gun lock, didn't
She had a box.
Had a box.
Yeah, so that's the thing. You people have to actually use it, and so people will pick it up. But it's this whole thing with doing what you're supposed to do. It does no good if you have it
Right.
and you don't use it.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? As a former member of the armed forces and stuff, even people that been trained with weapons, accidents happen. Yeah. You know what? You left a bullet in one of the rounds in a chamber. You didn't, take out. It's a lot of things. People have killed themselves when they didn't have to kill themselves. So when a baby gets a gun, first thing they do is what? Point at you.
Yeah, they see it on TV.
Yeah.
I mean,
They take a pencil, they'll take anything and say, psh, psh, psh. That's how they play. Yeah. But my question is now, what is the answer? So we talk about trauma upon trauma. So parents traumatized because they've lost their 3-year-old. I don't know if the 3-year-old has siblings, but that whole thing. And then the parents get charged, right? The possibility of them being taken away from their families. What's the answer? The answer is what you said. People have to be responsible.
But you know what? I go back, and my outrage is the 10-year-old in Alabama that killed his grandfather, interim mayor.
Oh, yeah.
And killed, I guess that's his mother.
Yeah.
And the grandfather's daughter. He killed both of them over a video game.
Yeah.
Killed him. Yeah. He executed him. Yeah. A 10-year-old. This is, you know what? Now they're saying they might not be able to even prosecute him as an adult.
No, you can't. No. You can't. And then if you believe it,
do you want that kid in your house?
Yeah.
Hell no. I'm sorry.
It's always signs though. So it's whenever something like that happens and you talk to the family, you interview folks will say,
right,
we saw signs, and then we have to be courageous to act. And so a lot of times you say it's going to get better, and so being able to first of all seek out the appropriate resources, ask for help, and be courageous. Because I'll say this: oftentimes we're worried about making somebody mad. If I'm going to tell everybody, if y'all see me doing something super strange that I normally wouldn't do, if I'm out there mowing people's grass, but they didn't ask me to mow it, and if I don't have a shirt on and I'm mowing people's grass for free,
rooting for the Lions,
and I'm doing something like that, you all have the right to come commit me, get me some help, save me.
I agree with you 100%. I think one of the things though is that some of the parents, like the Crumbly parents, like the parent down in Georgia, whose son had some mental health issues, he buys him an assault weapon. They bought this kid in Oxford a gun for he's having. And so I think part of the issue is, and I went to school together, the school has to be monitoring. We knew kids who were going to end up in trouble. In 7th grade, we saw the signs. The school could have intervened and tried to help them out, try to, constructively do good things, because the parents aren't always capable of doing that. So
piggyback on what you're saying, that there are signs. I know someone who has someone in their family that has some issues, and they're so concerned about what people will think
There's no question about it. Right. Don't tell the family business.
Don't tell the family business. Right. I'm embarrassed.
Right.
And I'm thinking, listen, they shouldn't be out here. They shouldn't be out here because they are harm to themselves and harm to others. They present a harm to themselves and harm to others. Why? Why are you? I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Why? And I think that goes back to the word that you used earlier. Irresponsible.
Yep.
You are not being responsible. Don't nobody care about how people look at you. You know what? I think all of us around this table will look at you as being a responsible person.
Well, what do you think about, like in the school shooting now, we have the second case now with the precedent being set in Oakland County where parents are being charged in the shooting. Do you think that is going to impact?
I do. I think that it has us talking about it is something completely different. We know that doing the same thing it gets you the same results. And so ever since Parkland and just going back, the parents have not been held accountable. Karen McDonald out there in Oakland County with the Crumblies, did something unprecedented by holding the parents accountable. Now you see in other states following Michigan's lead, and it has parents saying, so if I'm a parent and I'm about to give my child a gun, and I know that he possibly has some issues, or he or she, I'm going to think twice.
But the mother got a raw deal in the crime. I'm sorry. She got a raw deal. They, you know what? Okay, hold the father. He bought a gun for the son. Okay, you got it. But the mama, I'm sorry, she was the worst mother in the world. Don't matter. But she did not buy him the gun.
She did take him to the shooting.
And the school officials, they bear some responsibility, because if the boy name was Jamal, they would have went in his bag and they would found the gun. They would have kicked him out of school. They gave that boy a pass. He got a gun in his backpack, and he drawn all kind of pictures. He killed little animals. He did all kind of shit. They knew it, and they let him walk. Same way with this guy in Georgia. This nutcase.
Right. So what they're going to say is, now you're making it a crime to be a bad parent. Basically, is what the argument is going to be.
But he bought a gun. He bought a weapon. He bought a weapon.
When you talk about the Crumblies, what you're saying is, well, one parent should be held responsible.
He bought them.
Or should both of them be held responsible, but one more so than the other?
You're right. You bought a weapon for your kid.
If you believe in marriage, the union is one. I'm just saying.
But you know what?
You become one. That's what they're saying.
There should be a study. I mean, we're seeing a lot of times kids are bullied in school. I mean, and the teachers who think they're cool side with the people who are doing the bullying. I mean, we have to be monitoring kids.
Bullied in school.
But
I've been bullied,
but you can't.
and I bullied.
Yep. But the solution is not to give the kid that's being bullied a gun. Right. You know what the solution is. If I give the kid,
I'm saying, but that's part of the recipe. We know some of these really quiet kids who are isolated, who don't have friends, who are being bullied. You don't kill
everybody.
No, you don't. But that's what they're doing now, because that's
because if they did that when we were in high school, I can name about 20 people that shouldn't be here, because they would have been gunned down, because they were bullies, bullies.
But to Allan's point, it's the administration in setting a culture where bullying won't be tolerated and empowering individuals. But once again, being that courageous person to say, hey, when bullying is happening, the school has to get involved and mediate that conflict.
You know what they did the bullies in my
the parents too.
You know what they did the bullies.
But sometimes the parents are not capable of mediating, depending on if they got substance abuse issues. Sometimes the parents created the bully because they're bullying the kid at home.
That's where I was going. It's learned behavior. But then now we're talking about resources. Are we willing as a society to put that kind of money up for people to have those resources? One, and two, are people going to take advantage of those resources?
So I'm happy to say I had an opportunity to be at a press conference yesterday, and Henry Ford Health opened the first trauma recovery center in Michigan. And so it's going to be right there over there in the footprint near Wayne State at one of their centers. But with that, it deals with trauma, victims of violence, and it's holistic, and it deals with after a person has been injured, shot, beat, assaulted, teeth knocked out. It deals not only with making sure that they get the behavioral health therapy that they need and all the wraparound support, but also for their secondary, for their families, and it's free. It's going to be open like September the 19th.
Okay.
And so we go mental health component.
We're going to take a break. And we're going to come back. We're going to continue the conversation with the Deputy Mayor, Vanessa Moss, Allan Lengel. I'm Adolph Mongo, Detroit in black and white.
Neighborhood beautification. That's very important to Detroit. is very important to block clubs, organizations, and people who live in the community. We got started with 2 lots and a vision of a treehouse center. Because if we can take these blighted lots, Detroit give us grants to be able to do something with them that the community wants, it's a plus because we're bringing our neighborhoods back to where we want them to be, where they should be. All because I live in Detroit.
Hi, I'm Eric Sabri, your Wayne County Treasurer. If you're living in the home of a deceased family member and you're facing property tax foreclosure, the probate process can be helpful to you. If you file a probate petition and notify our office, the foreclosure proceedings will be halted during the probate process. Contact us at 313-224-5990 or email us at taxinfo@waynecounty.com. We're here to help.
In the heart of Detroit, Bruce Simpson. Our city ombudsman and his team are dedicated to making your voice heard. The City of Detroit Ombudsman is a liaison between the City of Detroit and all persons who have a complaint or inquiry into the operation of a city department or the conduct of a city employee. The Ombudsman works as an independent oversight to provide individuals with an opportunity of giving a confidential avenue to address complaints. You can reach the Ombudsman's office at 313-224-6000 or email us at ombudsmandetroitmi.gov. You can also visit us at the Coleman A. Young Municipal Center. For more information, go to www.detroitmi.gov and type in Ombudsman. We are here to help. In Detroit, we are all one team. When you win, we all win.
Right. Yeah, I like Bruce Simpson. He was a good guy. But anyway.
Acknowledge our viewers.
Yeah, you want to read?
Yeah, you know what?
Why don't we read the Timothy
Yeah.
Square?
We're gonna read your Tim's. We're gonna read your comment. But if you're watching Detroit in Black and White, we want you to like, subscribe, and share. We thank you for watching. Tell all your friends about it. If you want to come down and participate, you're more than welcome to. You can catch this show on all platforms. If you want to watch previous episodes, find us on DetroitInBlackAndWhite.com. Timothy Squire Bay said, if you buy a gun for your child, you should go to prison. Just like you can't purchase alcohol for a minor, you shouldn't be able to buy your minor child a gun, even if it's for hunting. Cynthia Burnett says, sadly, these kids who commit heinous crimes like this won't want to become infamous. Okay. Dizelle says, my client is baseball from the Wabash. We want to speak with UN officers on claimant issues.
All right, that's out of our league.
All right, yeah, that
one's out of our league there.
Okay, Allan.
So my thing is, Tucker Carlson, who has a great bass, an amazing bass.
And I love his story.
Yeah. So he's got a guy who just recently appeared, Daryl Cooper. They're trying to get J.D. Vance because he's going to appear on the show to condemn this. Daryl Cooper is a historian, and Tucker Carlson just praises him. Daryl Cooper has said that during the Holocaust, it was really an accident that all those people got killed. It was more that the Nazis didn't have the resources to care for all those people, so they had to kill them. Now, mind you, okay, 2/3 of the Jews, there were 9 million Jews in Europe before the war. There were only 3 million, and 2/3 were killed. And we're not talking about rounding up soldiers, like we didn't have the resources to take care of those. So we're talking about just citizens who were being rounded up, including my parents. My mother was in Auschwitz. My father was in a labor camp. And Tucker Carlson, who's a smart guy and very articulate and has this great following, is propagating this total horseshit. And people, and then speaking of one other piece of horseshit, Alan Dershowitz is now saying that he's no longer a Democrat. Well, he has, as Adolph said earlier, he hasn't been a Democrat for a long time. He was one of the lawyers during the first impeachment proceedings, and his theories were so wacky that even the other lawyers were sort of distancing themselves during the proceedings.
But that's just like doing slavery. where slave masters say that the slaves were lazy. And here you got free labor. You building up the cities, and they making money for you, plant your crops and stuff, but they lazy. Or during Jim Crow era, that our parents, grandparents lived during that time where, and I hear the dog whistles when Trump talk about Harris. He's not talking about the policies, because I can talk about the policies that I don't like, but to call it stupid, dumb, ugly, it just goes back to what our forefathers and mothers had to deal with. And when you want to get somebody, you call them ugly, say they black, they this, and they stupid, and you know what? It's just like he just took a playbook and they used this playbook to go after folks that they scared of. Dick Cheney, who I can't stand Dick Cheney. I hate Dick Cheney. He stole a heart from somebody. He shot his companion that went hunting with him. And he thought he was the president. He thought he was the president. And Dick Cheney voting for Kamala Harris. I don't get it.
Listen, when I read it, I thought it was, I really thought this was a joke. I was like, this cannot be true. This absolutely cannot be true, but in fact it is.
But I'm taking it. At this point right here, I'll take it. But going back to Allan's point, I saw some of the excerpts with the Carlson Tucker interview, and to really have this historian, who I wouldn't even say is a historian because he's altering facts. He's not reporting truth.
Right.
But to our younger generations who really, don't understand, when you have somebody who appears on a platform like that, it's so dangerous because it gives misfacts, and you will have a whole lot of people who will actually believe that.
Misinformation.
Misinformation.
Right.
But we have we went to school thinking that Columbus discovered America. George Washington chopped down a cherry tree, never told a lie. Paul Revere never said the British are coming. But Paul Revere was a hell of a guy. He was a dentist, etc. But the history, people who write our history, if we don't write our own history, we're gonna hear these lies, misconceptions. So Tucker Carlson got somebody on there that if you say it loud enough and long enough, people don't believe it.
What's dangerous is it's fast now. Back when we were young, information went slow, but when you put it out on a platform like that with 24/7 news, and it repeats and it's on social media, you'll have a lot of people thinking that, just like animals per se, where we did this to take them out their misery. We did a good thing to stop the suffering. It's like, no, you intentionally took a race of people and you murdered them. It was.
So two things I'm going to say is this. One, this just goes to show that, and I've said this more than once on this platform, we are responsible for the words that come out of our mouth. We have to take responsibility for what we say, okay? And two, I said this before, people believe what they want to believe. If you want to believe something positive, and it's real easy. Like you said, you get this information really quickly, whether it's a lie or not. If that's what you want to believe, that's what you're going to believe, and that is what you're going to spew out. So it's really, unfortunately, that's the way it is. But when you have platforms like this, and we have ambassadors, all of us that's sitting around the table, including Teresa, when you have ambassadors like us correcting the narrative that these people are giving, that is when the media is doing a good job, because people like us have to do that. We're responsible for doing it.
I was going to say, down in Florida, where they're trying to change the way they're trying to soften slavery, which was, such a criminal. To take human beings and enslave them and make them work and do whatever, beat them and
But
rape
you know
them.
what?
And stuff. But they're trying to change the narrative down there. So the school books are changing, and it's like it's insane, and we can't allow that to happen. I mean,
well, but you know what?
dangerous.
You got to teach your kid. You got to teach your kid that here's a book. This is the real deal. You know, as someone growing up, I was fortunate enough to meet somebody that was born a slave as a kid. You know, and it's like in talking to folks, relatives, you know, and you hear the stories about. Listen, my grandfather had an aunt. She had twins. She had twin boys doing slavery. One was sickly, one wasn't. So they sold the one that wasn't sickly, and they kept the one that was sickly. He grew up to be a real mean asshole and shit, you know. But they, you know what, they divided families, and after the war, after the Civil War, they looked for their kin folks all over the place. You know, it's a fascinating history where 20 years afterwards, they was putting ads in the paper, still looking for wives, looking for sons, looking for daughters, etc.
So what is your outrage?
My outrage is that I got to sit here and wait on this election, and that Robert F. Kennedy, a heroin addict, a junkie, a piece of garbage, who got his brain ate out by a tapeworm, you know, Jesus, is playing this game of get me off the ballot now. And then he's in North Carolina, get me off the ballot now. So, and then say that the vice president can't read or write. That can't.
We have a video of that.
Yes, that's unbelievable.
I don't think that Vice President Harris is a worthy president of this country. I think we need to have a president who can give an interview, who can articulate a vision, who can put together an English sentence.
You know,
I don't.
What's unbelievable is that he was granted an interview, and that there may be people that believe what he says. I mean, clearly something.
You know what? They piss at the world, the brothers. You know, one got kicked out as governor, the other one got kicked out as a journalist or whatever. So they got an axe to grind.
Well, now if you go on, I went on RFK Jr.'s website yesterday. It says a vote for Trump is a vote for RFK. So he's trying to consolidate that in, because who knows what they're going to offer the guy. You know, let's hope there's no offer to be even available. I mean, like you see Elon Musk now. You know, they're trying to bring Elon Musk into the fold.
Well, but you know what? Elon Musk comes from apartheid society. Right. He grew up where he could kill black folks and get away with it. Right. He can rape black women and get away with it. He could do whatever he wanted to do in South Africa. So he comes here and says, you know what? Only the elite need to vote. You know, people. You know, it's like
it's the area mentality of the.
He's not doing. He's not doing well with Twitter. I tell you that much.
Would you buy a Tesla?
No, I wouldn't. You
couldn't give it to me. I'm sorry.
Well, I couldn't afford a Tesla, but if I could, I still wouldn't buy it.
Have you seen the last pictures of the real Tesla?
No.
He looked like he came out of concentration camp.
Yeah, you will buy a Tesla, but you buy a Ford.
Man, it's sad.
I said some people would say you won't buy a Tesla, but you could drive a Ford. And Henry Ford has his history with racism.
Yeah, you know what? He hired black folks. He hired black people. Ask Allan. Listen, Allan Lengel has some great stories. He taught me some things. You know what? Why wouldn't you join the Cub Scouts?
I wanted to. As a kid, I wanted to join the Cub Scouts.
Okay.
You know, and my parents wouldn't let me, and I was like, well, what parent isn't going to let your kid join the Cub Scouts? And so years later, my sister said, hey, Mom and Dad didn't want you wearing that brown uniform. Reminded them of the Hitler Youth.
Oh,
Right,
wow.
right.
Wow.
There ain't no question about it.
I
What
couldn't
about-
figure it out. Like, come
You
on.
bought a Volkswagen, didn't you?
I did. I bought a Volkswagen, and my parents didn't say anything, but my uncle Eugene Poshkis came in when I was 18. He came in for my sister's wedding. He looks out the window and he goes, whose car is that? And I go, it's mine. He goes, your parents let you buy a German car? I was like, you know, but I'll tell you, when I was 18, we were pretty insulated living in Oak Park. It was predominantly Jewish. And I thought, hey, come on, get over it, you know? The anti-Semitism's gone. Then I go to Michigan State and people are saying, yeah, I tried to Jew them down. And I'm like, what? You know, and I'm hearing all this shit where people, I went to dinner one night with one of my roommates and another roommate. His parents were these old Irish retired folks, very sweet people. Well, the mother was, but the father was kind of very curmudgeon. So we're sitting at the table and the mother said, I never told I was Jewish. She goes, say, Alan, tell me about that Wailing Wall. Isn't that fascinating? And I go, well, I don't know. I've never been there before. And she goes, how about that Jerusalem? And the father finally goes, hey, there's other people at the table to talk to too. And I was like, hey, I don't really care. So on the ride home, I say to Bill, I said, what's your father think about Jews? And he goes, can't stand them. He was a CPA. His boss was a Jew. He hated it. I could feel it. You know?
But you know what? I went to me and Nate Kirk and Kenny Wade. We went to Alma College with biggest bigot in the world, Mr. Peace.
Oh yeah.
That was his alma mater. We went to this fraternity that the teacher, you know, pledged when he was at Alma College. So we go there. Nate Kerner is like 6'8", Jewish guy. They talking, the frat brothers. Don't Jew me. Don't do that. It's like we looked at each other. I said, we got to go. And Kenny Wade said, he said, why are we leaving? I said, if we wasn't here, they'd be saying something else. You know, Nate looked at me and said, oh man. I said, Mr. Peace, why you have us here? When we told him that, he was like, nah, don't say, you don't have to listen.
And then, you know,
have to deal with
I'm
that.
glad you said that, because we think about language and you think about this, just the word implicit bias and some of the things that we say, and it just seems common.
Right.
But you really don't know the meaning behind it.
Right.
How it
People
got
don't
there.
understand.
Some people don't understand, and they'll just use it and pick it up and have no clue
Absolutely.
of the root of it.
Absolutely.
But that's why it's so important to make sure that, you know, the implicit bias training is out there. We
But
get that.
but you don't know. Listen, I was at the Drake Hotel one night.
In
Supposed to be
Chicago.
it's supposed to be a jazz little club, and they had all these people. They was playing Dixie. I go berserk. I go berserk.
You turn over tables and chairs.
They go get the manager. They go get the manager, and the manager comes. She has an accent. I said, "Where you from?" She's from Poland. I said, I said, did your parents or relatives was in World War II? She said, yeah. I said, if they were singing Nazi songs, what would you do? She said, I'd be upset. But a week later, the general manager of the hotel called me out of Great Britain, out of London. And he said, I understand. I said, I hope you understand. He got the little British accent.
Did they
I
stop
said,
playing?
if I was Irish and singing this, you know what? You have
Did they
to.
stop playing?
Yeah, they left because I went. Yeah.
When I was
Nobody want to hear Dixie.
when I was at the Washington Post,
Nobody wants to hear that shit.
when I was at the Washington Post, I was interviewing the head of ATF in the Washington field office.
Right.
He's got a press secretary there. And so I asked him, I say, so, I'm just curious. I said, so when you're doing undercover buys, I said, you pretend like you care about the price. You're trying to negotiate like kilos and stuff. And he was a good Irish dude from Chicago. And he goes, well, sometimes we try to Jew him down.
Oh my God.
And I'm thinking, this is Washington. And I'm like, I couldn't even look up. I was so embarrassed. I looked in the corner of my eye, and his press secretary is like that. And I thought, I could write about that. He'll lose his job. I'll get a front page story. but I just said, you know what? I normally would have said something, but I was just so shocked, but I let it go.
Okay.
Now, but let me say this. I know people are watching, and I have a sense of humor. It's the way that they're telling the stories. Okay, so let's be
But you
clear.
got the vice
because some
president
people-
laugh.
What?
Oh my goodness.
He know let the cop Colin Harris laugh. We're gonna take a break. We're gonna
The
come
vice
back.
president
We're
got a
gonna come back
wonderful
with
laugh.
our guest.
So does Vanessa. Vanessa, I love you.
Neighborhood beautification, that's very important to Detroit. It's very important to block clubs, organizations, and people who live in the community. We got started with 2 lots and a vision of a treehouse center. Because if we can take these blighted lots, Detroit give us grants to be able to do something with them that the community wants, it's a plus because we're bringing our neighborhoods back to where we want them to be, where they should be. All because I live in Detroit.
Hi, I'm Eric Sabri, your Wayne County Treasurer. If you're living in a home of a deceased family member and you're facing property tax foreclosure, the probate process can be helpful to you. If you file a probate petition and notify our office, the foreclosure proceedings will be halted during the probate process. Contact us at 313-224-5990 or email us at taxinfo@waynecounty.com. We're here to help.
In the heart of Detroit, Bruce Simpson. Our city ombudsman and his team are dedicated to making your voice heard. The City of Detroit Ombudsman is a liaison between the City of Detroit and all persons who have a complaint or inquiry into the operation of a city department or the conduct of a city employee. The Ombudsman works as an independent oversight to provide individuals with an opportunity of giving a confidential avenue to address complaints. You can reach the Ombudsman's office at 313-224-6000 or email us at ombudsmandetroitmi.gov. You can also visit us at the Coleman A. Young Municipal Center. For more information, go to www.detroitmi.gov and type in Ombudsman. We are here to help. In Detroit, we are all one team. When you win, we all win.
We're back, Detroit Black and White. If you're watching, like, subscribe, and share. Thank you, Dwayla. Thank you, Tracy Huff, and all the people who, Tim, Kenneth Reed, everybody that watches every week. We want you to like, subscribe, and share. We're back in Detroit Black and White. We have a guest. We have a guest, the Honorable former City Council member, Alberta Tinsley-Talabi. I call her the mother of the east side of Detroit. We ran into each other, a couple days ago. We've been connecting with each other, misconnecting with each other. And we ran into each other the other day, and I invited her on the show. She said she'd be more than happy to. She is the mother of Mack Alive. Welcome, Alberta.
Thank you so much.
But you know what? I ran into the council when she ran for county commissioner against the late Charlie Diggs.
Okay.
And the late Mayor Coleman Young begged Charlie Diggs not to run. He said, he said, don't run. You know what? They're not feeling it. And they didn't feel it. And you won. Listen, you've been not only a cheerleader, but a trailblazer for keeping Mack. Basically, you kept Mack alive. There's no question. And I'm so happy that you're here. You know that you had a long, great career, state rep, county commission, city council person, activist, etc. You know, I can keep going.
Good.
And I just want to say that Mack is alive. I'm always on Mack Avenue. You know, my brother lives over there, and it's looking great. Every time I'm through there, I'm seeing more and more improvement. And so, just letting Detroit know, West Side folks, she got Mack all the way alive.
What made you adopt Mack?
Well, it's no secret to anyone who's listened to your show. Oftentimes I will quote that I was born at 2229 Pennsylvania, and I still live at 2229 Pennsylvania 70 years later.
It's
and so I take that as a badge of honor. You know why? Because it is my community. My parents bought that home, and I'm able to stay there and maintain it. And it's just an honor. I'm so grateful for the city of Detroit. There's no other city like the city of Detroit, where people really invest in where they live. They're making a difference. And I'm just seeing so many wonderful things occur. You know, on my block, there used to be 40 homes. Today, there are only 7. 7 left out of 40. And one might say, well, what happened? Well, the reality of it is people at one point were leaving because, you know, they were told, oh, Detroit, the last person down here cut the lights off and all that mess. Right. And we're busy moving out there places like, what was it called? East Detroit, who hated us so much, they didn't want the name Detroit. They said, we East Point. Right. You know, crazy. But we stuck and stayed, and I'm so grateful that we did. My whole family is invested in Detroit. It's amazing because I have cousins who chose to move out of Detroit, but none of my siblings left Detroit. One sister does live in California. In fact, I was on the phone with her this morning, Vivian, and she loves to. She feels guilty. She sends us boots in the wintertime. She sends everybody a coat, and then she says, "Oh, by the way, I'm on my patio in the backyard." Okay. And one of your sisters was the state rep. That's right, Artina Hardman, and she runs Mack Alive. And Artina's just doing an incredible job. You know, we have a senior program there, which you came and spoke. Right. And you saw oh my God, is it alive or what?
It is alive. It is alive. I spoke this past Thursday. This past Thursday. And yes, very much alive. The house, the building is just beautiful. What is funny is I drive past there at least 3 days a week, every week, because my trainer lives in that area. So I'm over there all the time. And then, as some viewers may know, I lived at 8110 Marion between Van Dyke and Maxwell for a great part of my life. And I went to church on the corner of St. Cyril in Georgia. So, I mean, I have roots on that side of town. So, yeah. So you were there when they had that the old Eastern High School on Mack?
Oh, on Mack and the Boulevard. That's correct. The old Eastern, and people don't even. I mean, it's like I think they have a marker there, but wow, that really goes back a way. I'm reading to say I'm the Southeastern. You know, right. Big SC.
Everyone goes to the big SC.
All right.
Let me ask you this. It's been a while since you sat on city council. So how do you think the city is looking?
Well, I think, oh my, I understand that as a result of COVID, recently there was $100 million given to the city of Detroit. Correct me if I'm wrong, because of COVID. Well, we know who suffered from COVID the most people in this community did. How many lives did we lose? And so I'd like to see those dollars where the impact was had of COVID. And that means to help restore people to being whole again, because there are a lot of people who are not whole in our city. We need to be concerned about the least of these, is how I was raised. And so in saying that, we need to have programs that literally go out here and pick people up off the street. When I be here, I'm going to Quality Behavioral Health Treatment Facility where I'll be speaking to 50 women who are in treatment. To be honest with you, the majority of those women are going to be Caucasian. And I'm like, yo, where's the Black women? We need treatment too. You know? And so I have to sound the clarion call when I see things are not right. And at this point, you turn 70, and then you can't hold nothing. You know, you just let it out. You got to say it. You got to make it right. And that's what I'm spending my life doing. I'm so grateful to be here and to know that we have a city that people care about one another, and we're going to make a difference where a difference needs to be made. I want to see more people become homeowners. I believe that everybody knows that home ownership is a way to wealth in America, right? Right. It's the fastest way. And so let's help people become homeowners. Let's use that $100 million.
We absolutely, down payment assistance. We're doing some amazing things. And so Adolph Mongo with Black and White and with our Detroit Life campaign really helps us get the message out. And so as a city, we have to do a better job of promoting the programs that we have. But our down payment assistance, we took $10 million just a couple months ago, and over a four-month period. I'm sorry, a 10-month period, we actually helped 400 Detroiters become homeowners by getting them down payment assistance. So they were renters, and so you have to be lived in the city of Detroit, and up to $25,000. And we partnered with all the big banks so they could stack. So some people even got up to $50,000 to purchase a home. And so we just started with our second round. So what's going on right now? So Detroiters, if you're renting and you've been in the city of Detroit, then you qualify for down payment assistance. Go to the City of Detroit website, click it. We got Detroit It Works. We got so many programs. And so when you look at it, well, I know that the City of Detroit website is not that most popular thing when people algorithm, but I'm just letting you know, if you want to get these resources with the $100 million.
Go to the website. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back and continue the conversation here at McShane, Detroit in Black and White.
Neighborhood beautification. That's very important to Detroit. It's very important to block clubs, organizations, and people who live in the community. We got started with 2 lots and a vision of a treehouse center. Because if we can take these blighted lots, Detroit give us grants to be able to do something with them that the community wants, it's a plus because we're bringing our neighborhoods back to where we want them to be, where they should be. All because I live in Detroit.
Hi, I'm Eric Sabri, your Wayne County Treasurer. If you're living in the home of a deceased family member and you're facing property tax foreclosure, the probate process can be helpful to you. If you file a probate petition and notify our office, the foreclosure proceedings will be halted during the probate process. Contact us at 313-224-5990 or email us at taxinfo@waynecounty.com. We're here to help.
In the heart of Detroit, Bruce Simpson. Our city ombudsman and his team are dedicated to making your voice heard. The City of Detroit Ombudsman is a liaison between the City of Detroit and all persons who have a complaint or inquiry into the operation of a city department or the conduct of a city employee. The Ombudsman works as an independent oversight to provide individuals with an opportunity of giving a confidential avenue to address complaints. You can reach the Ombudsman's office at 313-224-6000 or email us at ombudsmandetroitmi.gov. You can also visit us at the Coleman A. Young Municipal Center. For more information, go to www.detroitmi.gov and type in Ombudsman. We are here to help. In Detroit, we are all one team. When you win, we all win.
We're back at Detroit in Black and White. We did have another guest join us, and you might have seen us doing this. I guess it's the fly. He maybe he's cold outside, but if you see us doing that, it's because the fly has decided that he wants to join the show.
It's not our senior citizen exercise.
Right. So we're back with Alberta Tinsley-Talabi. And I want to ask you a question. How did you start Mack Alive? Or what precipitated this?
It was basically, I said, there's no one here helping the people here in our community. And this makes no sense at all. And so we decided to have a march 34 years ago. We just said, we're going to march down Mack. And we did. And people were crying.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, well, why marches are happy? This is a parade. We'll be happy. And the person said to me, I never thought I would ever see anything positive come down there.
Wow.
Wow.
How'd you feel about that when they said that?
The same way my heart feels now.
Yeah.
You know, I did feel it. And I said, Mack is alive. You're not dead. And I can also tell you a story. I remember years ago, I'm talking 34 years ago, going to Lafayette Park because, they had a parade in Lafayette Park years ago. And I went there and I said, I'd like for my nephews who were 10 years old at the time to be involved. And they said, well, this is really for our community. I'm like, oh, okay. On East Warren, they used to have a parade on Sundays. And I went there and I said, can I bring some kids, my nephews from the neighborhood? This is really in this community. I said, the hell with it, we'll start our own. We started with Mack Alive Parade. We've been going 34 years now. They ain't going nowhere.
Right.
They haven't been around. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, just commend you for what you've done. And oftentimes, on Mack, it's just one infamous intersection that folks always talk about. They know it everywhere, but you changed it. It's not even the same. So when we say Mack and Bewick and the liquor store that was sitting there, it doesn't remind. It's nothing of how it used to be. It's calm. It's peaceful. People come there just like they go to Chicago to look at O Block. But when you go to Mack and Bewick now, it's quiet. It's green lights everywhere, and so it just doesn't have that feel. So, kudos to you.
Thank you so much.
I've got a question for you. You've obviously been in politics. You were in the state house. You were in city council. Do you follow I'm kind of curious what other people think about our council, because I have some concerns. And I'm curious what your thoughts are.
First of all, and I want everyone to hear this. It does not take a title to serve.
That's right.
Right.
If you're looking for a title, then something's wrong. You've been given the title by the grace of God. You woke up this morning. And so don't be looking for a title. I may not be in office, but guess what I'm doing now more than I could ever have done on city council. And I'm thankful for that. I find the current council, they're a little quiet.
Uninspiring, I think.
I don't see the kind of energy
right.
in the street, waking things up and making things happen. Perhaps it is, but I don't see it.
Right.
And so I think that we have to be self-inspired, and perhaps it'll rub off on them, although it should be the other way. But in the meantime, let's just stay busy and rejoice and be thankful for what we are doing in this city,
right.
And not only what we're doing, what we've done, but what we're going to do.
What do we need more to do? What do you see as the big agenda? What's on the top of the list there?
As I said earlier, home ownership, and I'm so happy that Deputy Mayor reported exactly what they're doing. And I've heard some of that previously, but that is very positive because generational wealth is created in America through home ownership.
Right.
And so therefore, my mother was a homeowner, and it was easy for me to be a homeowner. My daughter's a homeowner. But if you haven't been, then you don't know. So we have to encourage those.
And also retaining homes, and the city has a program which we run commercials about home improvements. We have the Wayne County treasurer talking about ways to make sure you don't get foreclosed on, and it's just as important to buy. But it's just as important to retain.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
So, Madam Council said that she had a problem with issue with home ownership, and clearly she didn't know about the program. So I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that maybe you guys can get together and have someone from your office come and do a presentation at Mack Alive so that those people in that area will know about it. Because everybody, we do have a digital divide here.
We do.
In the city of Detroit. There is no question. But that gap is going to have to close because everything is digital, including court.
Yes.
Including jail visits.
Yes.
Okay. So maybe you guys can get together.
Are there virtual jail visits?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's virtual jail. Well, I'm just going to go off course a little bit.
Yeah.
The new Criminal Justice Center opened this week.
Uh-huh.
And so last week, we could not visit any of our clients in jail. And you can do in person or Zoom. So I was told last night, if you want to visit a client tomorrow, meaning today, that I need to get there at 7:00 in the morning because the wait is an hour to 2 hours because they only have 5 waiting rooms. Now, they spent all that money, right, building this beautiful facility, and you're talking about five waiting rooms?
Maybe they're really big waiting rooms. I don't know, but when you get there,
Come back and report
because I gotta believe now. I gotta believe that a lot of thought went into it. The state of the art, the place is huge.
It is. I promise. Next week, I'll come back and report.
Yep.
Now, I've been in the building. Right. I've been in the building. I will say again, we talk about the digital divide. Now, hallway, they can pick up every conversation. So if you're doing something wrong or saying something crazy, lawyers included, you better be careful, okay? But it's a beautiful, beautiful facility. Beautiful. How many?
2,000.
They say 2,000, but
2,000.
if it's only 5 waiting rooms, that means you got to wait for somebody doing a visit, attorney visit. You got to wait, and nobody wants to be rushed, talking to their client. But we will see. But yeah,
it has everything there, and so they're going to build. It's going to be wonderful. I know we just put a crosswalk in. The city is working with the county because it's a lot of folks.
Is there parking?
It's way better than downtown because everybody.
There was rumors out that we weren't going to have parking.
And
There's several parking lots. So you have to,
it's free too. And you got the juvenile. They got the juvenile detention center there. They got the jail beds there. They got the courts there. So really, it's a one-stop shop. So it should make it a lot more convenient for Detroiters to be able to take care of businesses. And
while Mack Alive is working hard to keep them out in the first place.
Right.
Okay.
That's the goal.
That's it.
And with our program, I just want to go back to something you said. This Detroit City Council, they may be quiet, but one of the things that they're doing, they're really working and holding the administration accountable. I'm talking about our administration accountable to make sure that the money and the things that we allocate are going directly to the people. And so with the federal money, when it comes to whether it's even the digital divide, putting our Wi-Fi on buses,
right.
We got Black Tech Saturdays going on where Detroit is being recognized really even by the White House and around the country as the tech center when it comes to entrepreneurship. So it's not just being able to access it with the digital divide, but entrepreneurship, creating apps. And so it goes on and on. The parks, the Renew Detroit, where we were repairing senior citizen roofs. Everything that we do and we get credit for as administration, it was council that appropriated those dollars.
What percentage of the homes? What percentage of the homes have internet? Do you have any idea here in the city?
I don't know exactly how many, but one of the things that with the new money that's coming from DC, the goal is to have internet for all. And so one of the more issues is there are some spots where the infrastructure doesn't allow you to get high-speed internet. And so being able to lower the cost, but also making sure that if you live in like Hope Village, that Comcast and that AT&T and that Verizon has put in the fiber optics so that you can actually access internet. And so what we've done too is we created tech hubs at our libraries, at our rec centers. We've even put Wi-Fi access at some of our city parks so that wherever you are, you can go there, and we're going to continue to do that. Right. So the goal is that everybody, regardless of where you live, will be able to access.
That's awesome.
Almost everybody has a smartphone, though. It seems like it's, no matter who you are, you have a smartphone now.
So we're coming to the end of the show. So I want to ask you: do you have any parting words? I'm going to tell you we thank you so much for coming. We're also going to invite you back. You're welcome to come anytime. But what are your parting thoughts?
Just be encouraged.
Just be encouraged.
Do not by any means. This is not the time to give up. Be encouraged. Do what you can. Support those who are out there doing things. And let's just wrap our around this beautiful, wonderful, awesome city called Detroit. And enjoy your riverfront. We have the #1 riverfront in the world.
It's true.
Do you hear me?
Right.
I mean, what does that say? That's wonderful. Right. And we should enjoy it. Bike riding, walking, running, whatever it is you want to do, it's there. And you can revive your spirit from which we come, the water.
All right.
All right. Any parting words?
Mayor? She dropped the mic with that one.
Right.
You know, we got the #1 river walk. We got the #1 town square. We're winning. And when I talk to other mayors and some other places, they call the deputy mayor the vice mayor. But I was talking to the vice mayor over in Chicago, and I was talking about the Detroit Promise, how our kids can go to college free here. And I went to running down all the stuff we're doing in Detroit. He said, "How are you doing it all?" I say because we work hard and we advocate and we go to our legislators and advocate to bring that money home to get it done. So and we're going to keep on doing it.
Okay, all right. We'll see you on Wednesday. Detroit in Black and White.
Go Lions.